It's recording.
There are no restrictions on that book, Yorick, but always good to inquire. So, Brandon, you want to read a
Sure.
little bit more?
Sure. I can reread the last paragraph if that'd be nice too.
Yeah, that's what kind of triggered me to want to record it and share it with other people.
Want me to
Just so you
start
could,
from the beginning of the chapter?
it's your call.
Okay. I like this first paragraph. When you meditate on Dzogchen, you should first search and discover the nature of your mind. Your mind is vast. The limitless universe and all that is within it appears within your mind. All manner of suffering and joy takes place within your mind. Countless thoughts come and go effortlessly through your mind. The teachings say that everything is mind. Now the time has come at last to realize whether this is true or not. You must do the work. No one else can do it for you. You are exploring the nature of your own mind. It is you who must resolve this matter. Do not leave it in a hazy, vague state. It is not enough to say, I heard it, it sounds good, I presume it is right. In order to do Dzogchen meditation properly, you cannot simply agree with what others have said about the nature of the mind. You must look again and again into your own mind and come to a decisive understanding as to its nature. This is known as the way of contemplation. Through contemplation, you will reach a conclusion and have the final say. You have heard what the Buddha, the lineage masters, and your root teacher have taught about the nature of the mind, and you have read about it in books. All of this is generally good, of course, but now you have to determine for yourself whether or not what the teachers and the texts say is true. You are making the quality check once and for all. For that reason, Patrul Rinpoche here uses the expression Dao Shachu. This is Tibetan for you must make the final proof. This means that the time to know is now. You can begin by seeking the location of your mind. Many people believe mind is located inside the body, in the brain, or in the heart. In particular, most people in modern times think the mind is in the brain. Now, look within your brain and search for your mind. Can you find it? Is it in the heart? Search for it there. Perhaps your mind is in your heart, in your brain and heart simultaneously. Seek your mind in both places simultaneously. When you search for your mind in your brain, heart, or in both places at once, do you find a solidly existing mind anywhere? Mind, according to Buddhism, is not matter. Brain and heart are matter. The source of matter, depending on which system and terminology we use, is thought to be atoms and molecules, or the four elements: earth, water, fire, and wind. Atoms, molecules, and the four elements are tangible. Mind is not tangible. That which is tangible can be resisted or blocked. Mind cannot be resisted or blocked. Matter is conditioned. Mind is unconditioned. Matter is subject to many laws. Mind is subject to none. You should determine for yourself whether or not this is so. You should explore within the laboratory of your own mind the differences between mind and matter. The fact is that they are completely different. This is the resolution that the Buddha and all the great masters made. And this can be your understanding too. Matter can be measured, quantified, and qualified until the absolute levels are reached. Measurement, quantification, and qualification apply to matter alone. Mind is beyond this. It is in a totally different category. This is not something you have to believe. It is, however, something very worthwhile that you can discover. Inquire whether or not the mind can be measured, quantified, and qualified. How many miles is the mind? How tall? How wide? What shape? What thickness? What does the mind weigh? Ask these questions, and you will quickly realize they are appropriate only to objects of the tangible world and absolutely inapplicable to the mind. Mind has nothing to do with miles, height, width, or shape. Mind, your own mind, is boundless. If you look within, you will see. In addition to being boundless, your own mind is unconditional, unconditional love. This is not tradition or dogma or belief. The Buddha did not decide that mind is boundless and unconditional love on a whim and make it into a rule. Buddha discovered what was there within his own mind and realized that what was true within his own mind was also true within the minds of all others. The Buddha also said we should examine his words the way a goldsmith examines gold. He never said that we must blindly believe him. He said that we should investigate the matter for ourselves. The Buddha is talking about nature, and nature is an open door. We can and should open nature's door, look for ourselves, and discover the truth. We should not follow blindly or willfully what someone else said just because they are famous. The fact is that the truth is not something Buddha made up. It is not something that belongs to him alone. What is truth is available to everyone. You should continue your investigation of mind. Does your mind have a color? Is it yellow, orange, red, blue, or green? Is your mind composed of atoms and molecules? Is it composed of the four elements? Is your mind hot or icy cold? Investigate further. Does time apply to your mind? In other words, does your mind belong to the past, present, and future? Look at this. Be thorough. See for yourself that color, composition, temperature, and time do not apply to mind. This is how you should examine your mind. This is how you will bring this inquiry to conclusion. By constant, vigilant inquiry, you will come to recognize and confirm that mind is boundless, beyond any and all categories. When you know for sure that your own mind is boundless, there is no need to ask any more questions. Now it is time to meditate, which means simply to relax into this boundlessness. Boundless mind is always with you wherever you are. The teachings say that once you have performed this detailed inquiry and have attained a good understanding of the nature of your mind, from that point on, your practice should be more direct. Let me read that again. Boundless mind is always with you wherever you are. The teachings say that once you have performed this detailed inquiry and have attained a good understanding of the nature of your mind, from that point on, your practice should be more direct. It is no longer necessary to ask many questions. Just look at your own mind and ask, who is analyzing the nature of the mind? The moment you do this, both the analyzer and the analysis merge into boundlessness. You can also look within and inquire, where is my mind? The moment you ask that question and seek an answer, you behold the boundless state. Another question you can ask is, who am I? Any and all of the questions you pose to your mind regarding its nature do not yield answers. There are no answers. The questions themselves dissolve. There is nothing to seek and find, nothing to grasp. There is nothing solid at all. Everything opens to the boundless state. This is the true nature. In Buddhism, it is called emptiness. In describing the state of emptiness, the Buddha used the words inexpressible and inconceivable. The inexpressible, inconceivable state of emptiness, that is the nature of the mind, is the essence of the Buddha's vast Prajnaparamita teachings, and it is the heart of his Dzogchen teaching as well. After you discover the true nature by inquiry, then simply abide with confidence in that state. Let me read that one again. After you discover the true nature by inquiry, then simply abide with confidence in that state.
Um, Here we can correlate that with the second sort of stage of familiarizing. So first, if we break it down to those four stages, if it helps you to do that, the first one is recognizing the nature of mind. The second one is familiarizing. So that can plug in there, but notice something important here. This is saying that you establish the nature of mind through inquiry. It doesn't say that you establish it through somebody else giving you something or transmitting anything or even cradling you and holding your hand. That this is totally in our hands. There's just a little bit that some guide does, a little bit of pointing here, and then maybe later some more guidance, but mostly it's on us. And I love here it's explicitly saying we can establish the nature of mind through inquiry. And notice it's not talking about, we have yet to hear anything about a provisional nature of mind. And this is somehow just a sort of a fake or a diluted version. Even in that moment of recognition, in order for you to have recognized, there's a clearing out of causality, of karma. There's two minds resting in that unconditioned oneness. This has nothing to do with anything being transmitted or anything like that. And when you recognize the awareness nature, which some of you have in here, and you're sure, you're confident, that is the real nature of mind. It's not some. It's very important to understand this because after you recognize the nature of mind and you familiarize with it, you're going into the non-conceptual land. So holding on to some concept that, oh, there's another nature of mind, or nature of mind looks like this or that. No, we start out with awareness. That's it. However that looks for you. And whatever problems there are, whatever confusion there is, will clear up. And we use the awareness nature to clear it up, to let itself clean. But important to understand that you don't want to have a concept of enlightenment or some stages that are prior to enlightenment. And I think even getting into the 21 immaculate qualities and all these things, that can be tricky because a lot of the phrasing is incorrect in the translations, but I think it's important to begin to understand what Buddhahood looks like. On the other hand, we have to be sure that when we recognize the nature of mind, as Longchenpa says in the Precious Way of Abiding, that awareness nature is your Buddha mind. So, any comments, questions so far?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the elucidation, actually. Really appreciate that. Because he does say at the beginning of the chapter that it's the responsibility of the practitioner to verify. And I think
Say that last part again, Brandon.
he says at the beginning of the chapter that although we can get teachings and read books, it's the responsibility of the practitioner to verify completely.
Well, says that you establish the nature of mind through inquiry. So really putting a lot in your hands there. Um, Yuri, to answer your question, transmission is kind of an incorrect translation. In the previous yanas in outer tantra, that would work. We could talk about causality and transmission. But remember, for there to be a transmission, you have to have a self and a other. When you're in Dzogchen, you're dealing with the enlightened mind, and one of the great samayas is oneness. This idea of sort of non-existence of the self. And so what there is pointing out instructions as they're called, pointing out or just pointing out because it could really happen in many different types of ways. And pointing out, I've already had that conversation with you actually when we talked about awareness. So where does the role of pointing out come in? Some people like myself, I like to introduce it as quickly as possible and informally as possible. Mhm. You understand, Yuri? Well, you have your awareness here right in front of you. You and I had a conversation about it last time. Looking for your mind and you couldn't find it. And that awareness is the nature of your mind. You start to familiarize with it, not conceptualize it, not analytically understand it. Familiarize with what you're seeing here. Is there something confusing about or complicated about awareness? By the way, Yeshi, I'm not blowing you off there. I just wanted to make sure Yuri and I's dialogue is. To this day, there's no scientific definition of consciousness. I never even used the word consciousness. I'm talking about your awareness that's here right now. I'm aware of that. It's pretty amazing, but I define it as lit because you have to have a working definition. So I define consciousness here as living intelligence. Even a single cell organism, an atom, a particle, it's all living intelligence. The photons, everything. But it amazes me that you cannot answer this simple question, yes or no, that you're about your awareness. I feel like there's too much thinking going on for you. Don't think about it. Isn't your awareness right here? Be aware of awareness with me for a moment. Should be a kind of clear light, you know? Resting in a clear light, open awareness. Nothing big is supposed to happen when you recognize. And this is also amazing to me that people think you're going to have this grand event. Uh-uh. There's a big old cloud in your sky still. but that doesn't mean you haven't seen the sky. So awareness is here as I'm speaking, my tone of voice, my posture, the sounds, the environment. We still on the same page, or? And once we test this to sort of validate, is it like when you're having a dream, how your mind is everywhere? It makes the environment, it makes the people, it makes the events, it establishes all the sense faculties, and then the ayatanas, right? Just all the smelling, tasting, feeling, seeing. So we manufacture an entire reality in our mind when we're dreaming. And let's say that's here right now, that we're dreaming this whole reality, and you're the dream character. Or if it helps you, like a video game, you're in the video game. But in the dream, you can actually tune in to the mind of the dreamer. Where would that mind be? Where would the mind of the dreamer be? It would be permeating everything. Awareness is exactly like that. Otherwise, how would you be aware of sounds? How would you be aware of everything you see? And what is awareness in the sense of in the context of consciousness? It's pure, unconditioned Colombian consciousness. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's unconditioned consciousness. It's the very field, the basis for all other consciousness. That we can think of it gets just a little denser, then a little denser, and a little denser. But in Dzogchen, we start to go a little bit more subtle, a little bit more subtle, until we're really into this basis. And the cloud of the conditioned mind has dissolved, and our mind is becomes like a sky, open awareness. The thoughts are like gentle breezes flowing through. Emotions are like animals running through your forest. Interactions are cosmic. Miracles within presence. So anyway, Dujin Rinpoche said recognizing the nature of mind is very difficult for many meditators precisely because it's so simple. So either way, we don't have to go into it too much. You either have a sort of aha moment or you don't. I think, this may be controversial for some, but I think there is, even though it's not this spectacular grand, like people think you're going to be in this Buddha Samadhi, but in my humble opinion, okay, I'm just a dirty yogi out here in the mountains. Um, you have a sort of, oh, yeah, you know, it's like, oh, and then you feel a little bit of wakefulness, almost like an epiphany of recognition. Let me acknowledge Yeshi's comments here. My correlation would be between this and what happens in linguistics. This, I don't know the context of this. Oh, I remember now. Yeah. I think Yeshi. I think they took the poetry out of Dzogchen. Uh, at least many have. You know, obviously, those like Tatun Kepa, TK, he's awesome. You know, he just does his own thing, and he makes music, Dzogchen music. He writes. He's got to be one of my favorite poets of all time. Dzogchen poetry. It's just amazing. Okay, well, maybe Brandon, we can read some more tomorrow. I think we left off at the beginning of chapter 4, right?
Uh, there's a couple paragraphs left. But this is the end of chapter 5.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you.
So we made it almost to chapter 6 already.
Yep. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, those chapters aren't very long, are they?
No, it's kind of nice for me at least.
I think the Kempo brothers are onto our short attention spans. Maybe Pacho Rinpoche too. It was pretty interesting. The earlier portion was describing how Aro got his name, and yes, she was laying down. He was like essentially in the corpse pose, what they call the corpse pose, and they call that row. And so as a baby, Aro Yoshi Jungner would say as a baby. So they named him Ro because he would lay in the corpse pose and say ah. By the way, in the recorded video, if I can time it right, I can make it look like I catch one of those. Anyway, very serious stuff going on here in the selection group. Can't believe I said the Colombian thing. That's pretty funny. Well, at some point, people are going to realize that there's no censorship on the group. So, anybody want to mention anything else today? Or Donkey, did your sit go okay? Maybe Donkey is not on the microphone too. You good?
Well, today we had 2 people, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'll tell you tomorrow.
Yeah, I would. I'm trying to figure out a good way to spread the word a little bit because I know people are interested in that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Moise kind of came in and left within like 10 minutes, so. But he was there the day before, so he's been there 2 days, so maybe I shouldn't. Then 3, including me, 4. Okay.
Well, how long did you sit for?
50 minutes? 45 minutes?
50 or 15?
50.
Dang, girl.
Yeah, and I sat. Like, I was on video, so I had to sit. So I was, like, kind of glad. It's, like,
No
good for me.
wonder you're all calm. Sound calm in your voice.
Oh, no, it was really really good because after this, I went for a walk. So, like, you know, like I'm getting back into like the habit of yeah, the meditation plus the walk. It was kind of good for me. It was like I'm trying to lose some weight too. So, yeah.
That's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, meditation will trim you right up.
Yeah, it kind of motivated me actually. It like gave me like a motivation to like, you know, okay, I meditated, now I have to walk. So I was like kind of glad. It all worked out.
Walking is a really great meditation too.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
We sort of start to break the chains of that word meditation, and really everything becomes a state of tranquility and stability, right? With all these, they mention the four immeasurables a lot, you know, just equanimity and love, joy, and compassion.
Yeah, it was good though. I was kind of glad. It gave me some structure, so it all worked out.
Can I tell you what else you're offering though to the group? Especially but while you're having these sits that are over a half an hour, you're allowing people that want to do short sits like Dzogchen bursts, right? We talk about it a little bit. Um, People can come sit for 10 minutes, do their little Dzogchen thing, and leave if they need to. Others that I think everybody should try sitting for an hour at least once, you know, just to check where your mind is at and see how subservient you are to your reactive impulses and everything. But see what kind of peace happens when the nervous system, the body, everything starts to relax. There's a whole nother dimension of abiding there, you know. It's a more natural, peaceful state. But usually we don't allow things to become peaceful.
And you can't itch that itch. And also, I went for this like walking meditation thing, like a retreat type of thing for like 5 days. And they told us how to do like walking meditation. So you lift your leg and then you lift up. And it's like really interesting because like you're so focused.
My dog does that.
You're so focused on it. Like you're like, you don't even notice your steps when you're stepping, but it's kind of like a baby learning how to step. It's kind of interesting. It's like, you like lift up, lift out, and it's like 4 different steps, and it's like, oh, I don't do it normally, but I was like, oh, that's. I love walking.
Thich Nhat Hanh has one where he says to kiss the earth with your foot.
Yeah, I love walking meditation. It's really interesting. Walking like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's like each step is like up, out, down. I forgot what it was, but they had like a specific way of saying it, and it was really good. But yeah, so there's so many things. Meditation, you can like meditate all day if you want, and that's I guess.
Is that on a video there that you're talking about?
I can try to find it. I did find it after I went to that class, but let me try to find it now. It was like 8 years ago, so I'll try to find it, but we'll see.
Well, one small step for man, one giant leap for Buddhahood.
And when you're doing walking meditation, you're not like in your own, like you're not in your regular thoughts. You're like focusing on that, so you're kind of outside what you're normally thinking. So it's kind of like you're not on autopilot anymore. You're like kind of more on like thinking one step at a time, I guess. So
well, you're in the presence, right? We're coming into the presence and getting used to presence, because that's really all there is. But our mind seems to just wander off into different time zones.
True. Very true.
But I should be at the next one, as long as causes and conditions allow.
Okay, great. And did Yeshi or Gokul want to lead tomorrow? If anyone else wanted to lead? No, okay, no, Yeshi said will know. Okay. Cool. Okay. Goku?
Goku said yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, then I'll be sitting. You can do the lead. You can do the speaking because I don't know if I speak very well. Sometimes yeah. So we can like alternate. Whoever comes, they can like some days they can do it, and then like I can do it. Like I'll be there tomorrow too, but I just won't be leading.
That's a good idea.
Oh, I hosted okay? Okay. I kind of felt like it was maybe boring and no one will come back. So it was like 15 minutes of silence compared to I went back into my comparing mind. But anyhow, yeah.
But well, that's another thing you're helping with the people practicing Dzogchen because
True.
because if they can't make it through 15 minutes of silence, then probably should go watch a TV show or something. But for a real practitioner, it should be sort of a challenge for you, and it's a little bit of a marker for me now that if somebody can survive the silent sits or the silence in general, it used to be where when we'd post about it, there would be like 5 people that would drop off just from being silent in the beginning. And to me, that's I think nothing you can really do about that.
When you,
And then
you
what you're
guys,
left over. Oh, excuse me. Go ahead.
sorry, I had a question.
Mhm.
Sorry, I feel I've been very rude today, so apologies for that.
No, you're fine.
So when you sit down in Dzogchen meditation, you just focus on the nature of mind. You don't focus on the breath or sensations happening around you. It's just like kind of a Vedantic self-inquiry practice, right?
What is it? Pedantic? I don't know if I know that word.
Advaita Vedanta, where you're
Oh,
like,
okay, I got you. I've Dantic. Okay. Um, there's like Buddha without meditation has an inquiry in it, and I've heard of several little inquiry type practices, and we just heard of one from the Aro Yeshiva. But that's not the only one, and hopefully you'll get to hear more of the book because it has several methods to help you in that second part where you're familiarizing. I like the way you said you're focusing on the nature of mind rather than the breath. And in the familiarization stage, you are kind of focusing on it actually. You're just kind of doing aware of awareness or looking at the nature of the thought, the origin of the thought, looking at the origin of the thinker, looking who is the one who's aware. All kinds of little inquiries like that are very beneficial. And then ideally, when we do the silence, it's in the beginning. You're either inquiring yourself or you're resting effortlessly just in that awareness. So when I just sit here, right, the awareness is here with me. There's not really anything I need to focus on. So I'm just telling you, Yori, I'm telling you the end of the book here, so you have all the information. But at first, in the familiarization stage, or even if you're sort of still recognizing, which is familiarizing, you may have to focus on it, and that's just a provisional term because you're really not. It's not what's sort of really happening, but it can seem that way. And you may also use mantras or the breath actually to familiarize with the nature of mind. Many approaches. It seems like they're countless. But once you have some familiarization, it's here. It's unconditioned. So it's not like you're cultivating it or creating it. It's always here with you. That's how we always know. Somebody says, "Oh, I I had a really rough day today. I got irritated and I started yelling and I had no awareness at all." And I always say, "Well, how did you know that you got irritated and you got upset?" Awareness had to be there, you see? It's just where were you at? Were you in the aggravation or were you in the awareness? Obviously, many of us start out in the aggravation and we don't even acknowledge the awareness, which is sort of just marigpa or avidya. So, or avidya. My, I'm not a master of Sanskrit, but either way, most important is that uh, everything, when we get lost in thought, when we get lost in fear, when we're dreaming, when we're dying, it's all within awareness. So that means emptiness too. Awareness and emptiness. But where are we located? Uh, just like when you got irritated and you got upset at somebody and you said, "Oh, I had no awareness." But your awareness was just it was there, but you were in the thinking mind. Just like that, when you die, you have a choice. Are you gonna be in the thinking mind thinking that you're really dying? Or are you gonna be in the unconditioned aspect of your mind? That's why they say it transitions from day to night. Uh, like there's no difference because there's a mind that's making this reality. And just like if it can start to, if you can start to sort of blend day and night and see the similarity in those two and recognize the unconditioned state that doesn't have a day or night in that regard. If you could see that, then you could certainly see how birth and death happen within the awareness nature. It's really about relocating yourself, coming out of the thinking mind, withdrawing. This is as if a computer thought that it completely existed as a piece of spyware. Let's say there's a spyware app on your computer, and the entire computer was convinced, I'm this spyware app. This app is what I am. I annoy people. I pop up a lot. That's my thing. And then somebody says, no, no, no. Hey, you're actually this whole computer. You're running this spyware app. And I would uninstall it. And that's nirvana. You know, when you uninstall and maybe do a defrag there. But really, it's like that we identify with an encapsulated version of the mind, with a small tip of the iceberg version of the mind. And so that's what's great about Dzogchen. That's why, for example, the Kempo brothers are fearless. They tell you to go test it because they know you're going to see it. What religion and all these spiritualities that just want you to believe stuff? Just have more thoughts in your head or change the thoughts in your head. And once you believe this, then that's it. You're done. You're on the right team. You know, Dzogchen doesn't require any beliefs. Particularly when you get comfortable. So any other comments or questions? I'm still here. I'm just moving this. Moving my shoes. It's funny. All steps are already present in the first. The next ones are just reiterating. Step one, first normalizing it, then making a way of life, finally making a way of being. Yeah, there's a lot more to that too. Yes, you're onto something right there. Actually, right about that. Text. Okay, so we all good? All right. Thank you so much, everybody. It was a nice little power session. I really hope that you'll be able to enjoy this book with me. And Brandon, I don't know if Brandon's still, yeah, Brandon's still here. Really great job reading. I like the way you're presenting it. Very nice to listen to. Like, reminds me of one of those audio books, you know.
Huh. Thank you very much. It's nice to read you guys.
Somebody might have a job as an audiobook narrator. All right, well, if our new YouTube channel starts getting a bunch of views, and then we'll tell them it's Brandon, Tumfeld Brandon. He's the voice behind the text. All right, well, let's go ahead and do the dedication. Brandon. Brandon, registered trademark, is reading our text for us. Yeah. From now on, you got to put that in your username, Brandon. You got to put a TM next to your name. TM stand for talking meditation. All right. Well, let's do dedication of merit then. Yeah. I hope everybody got clear, got understood. Do this Dharma reading that we had in the Dharma talk. whatever merit, whatever benefit that we got from that. There are beings in this very presence that are suffering, lonely, injured, sick, afraid. May we give that benefit to them without exception. Yewa Magen Dodo Kunan. Yewa Magen Dodo Kunan. Yewa Magen Dodo Kunan. Deep bow to you and to the people. Is it still recording? Yeah, right. To the people, if you watch this, thank you so much for your practice. And even though I may not know your name, I'm wishing you the best. Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a good rest, okay? See you.
Take care. Much love.